Tuesday morning. Now, the tradition of drag queens has come a long way in this country, from the days of pantomime dames right through to mainstream TV on shows like RuPaul's Drag Race. It's entertainment, but for performers like Chichi Monroe, it's also a platform to support young people coming to terms with their sexual identities, and this has led to a nomination for Chichi in the Positive Role Model category at the National Diversity Awards. So let's find out more about that right now. Chichi Monroe joins me live this morning.
Good morning, Stephen. How are you?
I'm good. Good to have you with us this morning. Thanks for your time on this. Let's turn the clock right back on this. Was performance always something that was in your life? Was it something you were always interested in, keen on?
Well, the thing was, growing up, I always wanted to be a singer or a performer, but I never had the confidence to actually do it. So growing up, I'd always be kind of a singer in the shower kind of thing. It wasn't very in front of audiences or anything like that. But later on, when I actually moved to Gran Canaria, the confidence just kind of came from actually being in the drag. And then over the years since, it's kind of built up a bit of confidence in myself in general. So the drag is what actually just built the confidence for me over the years.
And why did you move there? Was it easier to do it there than to do it at home?
Well, it was never the actual intention to do it at all. It just actually happened accidentally. It wasn't ever something that I kind of aimed to do. I always wanted to be a performer, yes, but doing drag wasn't one of the things I thought, or one of the avenues I thought of going down. It did happen by accident, but I'm glad it did, because the drag it was like having a suit of armour or a shield going out on stage. It was like a protection, and it gave you that confidence to be whoever you wanted to be in that moment when you were on stage.
So tell me about that first time, how you ended up doing it, that first occasion.
It was actually myself and my now husband. It was my boyfriend at the time. We were performing as a kind of a duo group, but male singers. And the nerves used to get the better of me every time. I used to forget my lyrics, or I'd get very panicky before a performance. But after one of the gigs, the guy asked us if we'd be willing to do the next gig in drag, because it was coming up to Gay Pride at the time in Benidorm. And we said we hadn't tried it before, but we'd give it a go. And I'd say we looked absolutely atrocious, but we did give it a go. We had a good laugh with it, and we kept getting bookings from this guy for the rest of that season. When the season ended, then we decided to go to Gran Canaria and auditioned for Ricky's Cabaret Bar, which was one of the biggest cabaret bars in Gran Canaria, and I got the job. And going from there then on to Sparkle Show Bar, it kind of built a following over the years.
That's the amazing thing about this. I mean, you were properly scared of performing at the beginning, weren't you?
Terrified, yeah.
I mean, really scared.
Yeah, absolutely terrified. I had to have a few drinks before I'd even go out on stage.
So what got you past that? Was it the reaction from the audience and just actually doing it?
I think the fact of having the drag there it was like a security blanket. It was like, when I had all that on, it was a case of, I'm not Gary anymore, I'm Chichi. I can be whoever I want. Do you know what I mean? I don't have to worry about what people think about me, because I'm a character. Do you know what I mean? So it's the same as being an actor or an actress. It's like you put on your costume and you play that role. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I kind of looked at it starting off. And then over the years, obviously, Chichi developed her own personality, and I think taking aspects of my own personality, putting it into Chichi, and vice versa. I think I've learned a lot from Chichi as well as vice versa, as in bits of Gary going into Chichi.
What was the pandemic like? Because I guess there was no performing over that time, or much less, certainly.
Yeah. Because the thing was, we had decided to move home from Gran Canaria to come to Scotland right before the pandemic, before we even knew what the pandemic was. So we actually arrived home, it was about 5 or 6 days before we went into lockdown. And I had a lot of gigs lined up, but obviously I only got to do one, which was at Planet Bar in Edinburgh before it was actually St. Patrick's Night, and that was my final gig before we went into lockdown. The first and final in the UK. And then I started working as a senior care worker in a housing association in Livingston. So I worked there right through the pandemic. But at the same time, myself and my husband used to put on live video feeds on Facebook, just doing shows online, raising money for the NHS at the time, because we didn't know that it was going to last 3 weeks or 3 months or
none of us did.
2 years.
Yeah.
So
What
we
do
were
you
just
think?
trying to do something to just lift morale, to be honest, during that time.
Sure. What do you think about the move that drag has made into the mainstream much more over the last few years?
I think it's amazing that it has become a lot more mainstream because there's a lot more education out there about what drag is. And the thing is, you have to kind of look back to the past and look at the drag queens who've paved the way for the current queens. And obviously these current queens are going to be the future queens. So I think it's very important to look back and educate yourself on Stonewall and all the drag queens, what they've gone through in the past right up until the present day. So it's including the past in the present and then bringing the present to the future. But
Yeah.
I think it's amazing that there is such a variety of drag now. It's just unbelievable.
Not everyone loves it, do they? I mean, columnist Julie
No.
Burchill has said that it derides women, drag itself. What do you say to people who feel that?
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and I think the majority of drag, you do get a lot of backlash no matter what you do, whether it's good or bad. But you just kind of have to kind of pull up your socks, just grin and bear it, and just get on with it. You know what I mean? It's you know what you're doing yourself. All we're doing is trying to put smiles on people's faces, entertain. And like I said, it's exactly the same as an actor and actress putting on a costume to do their job. That's what we do.
Well, you're doing more than that, actually, because, I mean, you're kind of use your platform to try and help and support young people who are trying to work out their sexuality at the moment. How did that come about?
To be honest, a lot of it just happened from, obviously I appeared on TLC's Say Yes to the Dress and got married on that. So there was a lot of a following that kind of built up after that, after it was shown on TV. So I think automatically a lot of people can kind of relate to you and feel like they know you because they've come to see you at a show, and then you're ending up going on TV to get married, and they've experienced that with you too. So they come and talk to you and they trust you. And a lot of people come to me with problems, everything from giving makeup advice right through to being devastated about something big that's happened in their life and asking for help or advice with that. And it's not only young people with confusing problems or anything like that. It's their parents. A lot of the parents come to me because they say, my child follows you for so long and they really look up to you. Would you be able to talk to them about this? Or would you be able to let them know that it's okay to come out if they haven't come out, that kind of way? So it's a lot of the parents actually come for advice rather than the kids.
Interesting. So that has led to a nomination in the Positive Role Model category, National Diversity Awards. They are in June. What would it mean for you if you won?
Oh, it'd be amazing. When I actually got the email, I thought it was a scam. I had to look it up online and make sure everything was legit before I clicked any link. It was absolutely amazing. I was shocked to get nominated, but I'm absolutely honoured to be even put in that category. I think winning would just leverage a following, even more of a following for me to actually just reach more and educate more people on all these amazing charities and local businesses in Queens and so on.
Yeah, I mean, you've already got a platform, but that would just lift it up for you. Well, we will keep our fingers crossed for you, Chichi Monroe. Thanks very much indeed for joining us live this morning.